Please give us a short introduction to your personal musical journey. When did you begin to make trance music?
Actually, I was collecting music since 98, 97, 98. I was not DJing or something. It came quite late. It came like some kind of incident. I was in Thailand and I met the club owner, and I could play quite good actually because I had CDJs at home and I practiced all the time. But I didn't want to play on parties. So, but this party, he asked me if I want to play, so I said okay, I can try. And it was quite better than I expected, so I kept on playing in Thailand all the time, and since then I continued being DJ. And to produce music I started in 2001 on my laptop in Goa. There was a party, it was cancelled and I couldn't sleep. So I take my laptop and I just tried with the program, and next morning I had a track finished. I must say it was quite shit, the track I made, but actually it was a good start to see that I can make tracks. So I continued making tracks, getting better and better, meeting people, sharing knowledge, learning more and more. That's how it came. The beginning was funny actually. I had a friend, he liked to go out to techno parties, and sometimes I went with him when there was a love parade in Berlin or something, and we went in some club and I partied all night, but it was not really the music I liked. I used to listen like thrash metal and really hardcore music. So this techno music was really too simple for me somehow. And then sometimes I went with him, and then one of these parties I realized, man, these guys around here, they complete different atmosphere they make than a techno party usually. And the music is also different, but I didn't really figure out the difference between, because it was still like kind of techno music sounding, but it was like techno music I liked suddenly, and I had to fight a little bit with myself if I liked it or not. So anyway, I would end up, when my friend asked me if I go camping with him, I say yeah, sure, and we drive to North Germany, and we arrive in the night, and we drive over this hill, and there's like fireworks, and I see like a big thing of light and lasers and everything, and we go in there, and I'm just standing on the dance floor of the roof, and I'm wondering, wow, this is quite cool actually, yeah? And I saw all these guys, lifestyle they had, having the shops with their buses they lived in, and driving around the world with their bus and making chai shop, and I was fascinated from this moment on completely. And since then I took all my thrash metal CDs, I put in some covers, and I go and I buy this fluoro cover CDs and start listening only this. Yeah, I was traveling anyway. Traveling was my kind of hobby, yeah. So I traveled around, and it was that time, like 98, 2000, where this party started to happen everywhere, huh? So there was no choice. If I go to a beach where I'm alone and there's nothing happening, or if I go to this beach where there's the party and 3,000 people, you know. So I always choose the parties, and also it was here in Berlin quite easy to go to festivals. If you lived in Berlin like 5 years ago, there was party all the time. In the summer there was one festival after the other. You didn't need to go home even. You take a bus, go from one festival to this festival to this festival, and then it's end of summer and you travel to some other country, yeah. Or if you stay here in winter also, there were so many trance parties I went to in Berlin.
How would you describe your style? What kind of style is it, according to you?
Actually, people call it dark music, which I also don't really like this word dark, because dark sounds like spooky and stuff. I like more exciting music, surprising music, and groovy and fast. But I don't know which style the music I should give a name. I would say it's noise poison style.
What do you want to express with your music? What is your message for music?
My friend Noma, he would say the message of the music is take more acid, which but I'm not all the time thinking about when I'm making music. But I think it's not a message, it's a feeling. It's a feeling. It's like also some tribal drummer doesn't really have a message with drumming and getting in trance while he's drumming. It's just a feeling he has which makes him feel good when he's doing it. And this is like actually more or less the positive message. If it would suck making music, I wouldn't do it. So I think it must be some positive message inside. Because I feel good while I'm doing it, But I'm not thinking about a real message. I don't want to say like this. Sometimes we use some samples, and it used to be in trance, like really like deeper meaning, spiritual samples, telling you something, and you get surprised, or you start thinking about some certain things. But nowadays, all those samples, most of them get used just as sounds. And there's not really a meaning inside the samples, mostly. So I try to keep the meaning out, and if the sample has a meaning which I don't know how to fit in the track or something like this, I just make it reverse, so I have a sound which talks like blah, 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 to get rid of the meaning, so it's just a sound.
Is there a formula? How do you build your tracks? Or something like concept?
I mean, there's a concept to start the track, which I use the bass line and the kick as first, then I take percussions, and then I drop some samples, some synthesizers, stuff like this, but I never sit down and make like a concept that this track will be like this and this and this, and then in the middle comes a break and the sample is saying this I'm not doing. Everything what happens while I'm working. I find one sound, I like it, and I use it like this.
Some people refer to trance parties as rituals and shamanism, techno-shamanism. What's your opinion about that?
I mean, there's certain shamanic drugs, I would say, taken in the trance scene, which makes people call it making some ritual. In the end of the day, nowadays the parties look more like parties to me. Mostly even like disco. Disco under a coconut tree, for example. Because you don't have the spirit which it used to have. Because it's also splitted in this, like Penta said before, in these 3 groups, which they are quite intolerant to each other. The ones that like this kind of music, they don't like this kind of music, but in the end they all want to have the same kind of feeling they had when they met this music. So, but now they got splitted and something, it's all, I think it's quite somehow difficult, and the really good parties, I would say, get less and less. The festivals is like a nice place to connect the people from all 3 directions of music, which are quite similar to each other, but it's more the meeting which excites me personally than I find some interesting music what is really new and making me dance. It gets less and less, to be honest. Now you hear the music changes, but more or less it's not much surprising anymore inside. And this makes also this 3 groups system, because I'm also sharing one of these 3 groups and not all 3 of them. So my ear is just going in this one way anyway. So this festival for me is like more this meeting point for other people, and you can meet other friends while you're not traveling. But to have a proper party where you dance all the time, I mean the experience is more the small parties which makes this kind of energy.
Do you think of trance parties in terms of a means that we could use to step into a big transformation on Earth coming to us in the next few years?
I mean, I think that actually happened already when they invented techno music. I remember that time in Berlin when the techno music got invented. Here it came over like maybe 1990 or something, 92, and at that time it was like I saw big changes happening. This electronic music just came here and made like really big changes to everybody. And nowadays the change between like techno music to trance music didn't make such a big step than it made from analog music to electronic music. So this big step of this revolution, what the music brings, is already done, I think. Now we are like in the end phase of this, you know. I don't know, it's really interesting to think about the music, what is going to happen in, for example, 10 years. If you listen to trance music 10 years ago, and you listen to trance music now, it's still, you recognize it's the same style of music, but it's like complete different things. It's like really like an evolution in the music also. And I'm really curious what's going to happen to music in 10 years more, because already you think that everything must have been tried already. You know, when you hear all this music, so much things you technically cannot do, but there's always someone who has some new idea, makes some new sounds, breaks, I don't know, bass lines, kind of things, which makes you surprised. Huh? I hope this is going to happen more in the future. This kind of surprising tracks going out.
What is your opinion about peace, love, unity, respect, and so on? Do you still believe in that? Still believe it works? Or is it gone?
You still find it. Huh? You still find it, I would say. But I hear from many artists from around that most, and I see also myself, that most of the parties are not made to make party. It's made to make money. You know, and this is what is quite sad to say about this. But still in the scene, I must say, I see other artists I meet. I have a quite big house here in Berlin, so other artists who comes to Berlin are always welcome. And I see this also when I travel around somewhere. I'm always welcome in these guys' houses, and I can feel like really home. And this is what I really like on the scene, huh? That it's like this worldwide connection between the people. Huh? But the party scene itself nowadays got somehow really commercial, even in the underground scene. And I see often that it's, I don't know why it is like this, but it's always with everything like this. When something is new, there's more euphoric for the people than something that is lasting already like 10 years now, maybe. I'm quite maybe I just need a proper party to change my mind again, because I didn't have one so long time. Maybe tomorrow, after the party, you could interview me again and I'll tell you something else.
There are lots of dark psychedelic musicians who talk about the end of the world and Armageddon and so on. There are also lots of prophecies. For instance, the Mayas believe that there will be the end of the time in 2012. So what's your opinion about that?
I don't know. I don't like to think about future and this kind of things. Also this, I mean, it's things which will happen and then they happen, but if you waste your time, which in the now happens for something what is in the future, then you waste the now, actually. So, and if we're gonna die, then you cannot change it anyway. Or what means die? If the human race gets erased or the planet Earth, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm not really into this thematic too much. And I hope everything will just be a mythos, something which get talked about but not really happens.
I saw those crystals that you have. What do you think is the power of the crystals? How would you describe it?
I like stones. Generally, I like all kinds of stones. No? Crystals, I think, is one of the few stones who have like every stone has like one certain power. And crystals, I think, has a very wide range of power. You can use it for almost everything. But I'm not really practicing some healing or something with this. I like to collect them from traveling from all over the world where I go. I find nice crystals, I take them and collect them because I like to have them.
Can you tell us a little bit about the label, Noise Poison Records?
I started the label together with Bjorn from Make a Tourist, and with Ilse together. Ilse is one friend from Hamburg who works for the Mushroom magazine, and we three had this idea to make a label maybe like 3 years already, and 1.5 years we decided to make it like serious, and our first release was in the 6 months ago from now. I think it was 2005, September 2005 or November. Actually, finally it came out or something. It had a little bit delay because of some issues. And also Cosmo and me made one album together called Highko, and this released also on my label. And next week on the 26th of June, we'll release my album called Noise, Problems and Poison. And yeah, we're planning also now a compilation. We are still looking for tracks from several artists from around, but it's nowadays not easy to find some fast, some good tracks, because it's existing a lot of labels which make the concurrence quite big to find music. Basically, it was to promote the style of music that we prefer. Because we were all producing music, we have many friends who produce music, and with this we gave us all a chance to release our own music, because it was actually not easy to find for this kind of music style so many labels when we were planning it and we were making it. Nowadays there's a lot of labels which like dark underground music, I would say they call it.